liked it. So if we do 750 likes on this video right here, and if you stick around to the end of this video, I am going to give you an update on the 1,200-gallon pool pond and tell you how I broke it. What is up, everybody, and welcome to today's video. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Zach. This is SC Fish Keeping, and I appreciate you stopping by. Please hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Now, if you're new or you just don't happen to watch every single one of my videos, which I understand, but you should, I have a muskie. That's right, I have a pet muskie fish, spelled with an I-E, spelled with a Y, muskie lung, however you want to say it. I have a muskie, and right now this muskie is in a 55-gallon aquarium. It's just not big enough, and he's not comfortable. He gets very spooked on camera still, and well, it's just time to move him on up. I ordered this fish from Jonah's Aquariums. For those of you that don't know, I put out a couple videos on him already. One of me ordering him, one of him eating. Here's a clip of him eating. Well, I put him in this tank and I knew that he was going to need to upgrade very, very soon. Well, fortunately for me, I have big tanks, I have pool ponds, I have bigger pool ponds. I have some options for moving this guy up, but I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. So I made a video where I moved the biggest fish that I have, which is my 2.5 foot long African lungfish down here in this, I don't want to drop the camera, in this pool pond down there. You can't see him, so here's another clip. Oh man, that's a big fish. Well, moving him out of this 125 gallon like I did, free this 125 gallon up. Now, I'm not going to show you exactly how it looks yet because this thing's gone through a lot of changes, and just the other day, it looked like this. And then now, today, through the magic of YouTube, the tank looks like this. Little different, a heck of a lot better, and I'm super excited about the way it turned out. It's natural looking with some fake plants. It has plenty of room for this muskie to swim above the driftwood, but also kind of use that as a little hide. It's actually very open if he does get spooked, but I'm a little worried he might run into it, so that might come out just in case he starts like bashing into it. Now, when doing a video like this, when setting up a new aquarium, I very easily could have shown you me painting the new black background on the back of this tank. I could have shown you me adding some of this substrate to the bottom. I could have shown you me netting the muskie out of the 55-gallon aquarium that he was in. And I could have shown you me dropping him into the new aquarium. But I know that's not what you guys want to see, so I'm not going to show any of that. Instead, I'm just going to show you the muskie, who is still getting used to this tank because he's only been in here for just a little bit. So yeah, so he's adjusting to this tank. You can probably notice the water's a little bit cloudy. I did just set this tank up recently, but I used the filter that was on his tank before as well as the filter that was on this tank before to kind of jumpstart that cycle. So he's doing great, just needs to find his bearings. And one thing I've actually learned since keeping muskie, at least with this guy, is he's very, very skittish, does not like to be on the camera, attacks his reflection. but in general are not the most exciting fish to watch outside of when they're eating. He spends most of his time hiding out up in those plants, which makes a lot of sense because that's natural muskie behavior in the wild. They hang out in shallow waters, they hang out in thick, weedy cover, and then they have open spaces to rush out and, you know, snatch their meals, which you might notice is kind of what I tried to recreate in this tank. So like I said, kind of tall, thick, weedy cover, plenty of space for the muskie to go back and hide, but then it just really opens up to nothing over here, which is where I'll put the feeders when we feed him, drop them in there, and let the muskie just kind of, you know, do his thing, rush out. I have this idea, and you know, one of the most exciting things about me having a muskie is the feedings and making videos showing the feedings to you guys, but I don't like to overfeed my fish just for the sake of YouTube, so I'm not gonna drop like 30 minnows or goldfish in there and just watch them go nuts. But so my idea, and I'm gonna make it a challenge for you guys, is if you want to see like a compilation feeding video of like everything I feed them over the course of a month, give this video a thumbs up. And if we hit, on my last challenge I did 500 and you guys crushed it, so if we do 750 likes on this video right here, I will record like everything over a month, month and a half that he eats and just like mash it all up with some cool music and stuff and make a video of that. So if you guys want to see that, hit that thumbs up. 750 likes, I'll put in all the work to make that happen, and I think you guys can do it. Alright, so I told you at the beginning of the video that if you made it this far, I was going to give you an update on the 1,200 gallon pool pond in my garage that used to house the 6-pound largemouth bass and some recently added crappie. Well, you can see behind me, the pond is not running, the water level is low, there's buckets and polyfill, and yeah, it's broken. So what had happened was, the way this pool pond worked was I had a pump doing about 3,200 gallons per hour, and it was pumping up, over, and into this trash can. The trash can was acting as the filtration system. It would fill up and then drain out through these PVC tubes back in. I have insulation under. The garage is pretty warm. Even though the temperatures in Omaha, Nebraska get pretty cold, the water temperature was staying right around 45, 50 degrees, which is cold, but for a largemouth bass, it's just fine as long as the water is well oxygenated. The bass was actually doing fine. Her metabolism slowed down, so she didn't really need to eat a whole lot. Well, somebody left the garage door open. We're talking that garage door there. It was left open for only about an hour, hour and a half, but the issue was the temperature was below zero outside and it was windy. So all that cold air was blowing in here, and to kind of recreate here, ice got kind of built up here into this tube and actually stopped the flow of any water from coming out on both of these. Well, the issue with that is when that pump fills the water up and it goes over into this filter, if it can't get out of the two holes there, it overflows and then floods my garage. The garage had actually been closed before the pipes completely froze over, so my wife left, closed the garage, realized she left it open, pipes freeze over, trash can starts to overflow, water then starts pouring out to the edge of the door here, and my wife comes home from whatever she was doing, opens the garage, and a flood of water. I mean, that's a rubber little seal down there which keeps the temperature in, but it also keeps the water in. A tidal wave goes flowing out into the freezing cold driveway and runs underneath her tires. She comes rushing in and says, "Hey, your pool pond's broken." So naturally I'm freaking out. I come running out here, realize the issue, unplug the system, and this is what I saw. So I didn't grab the camera and start making a video. I immediately thought, how am I going to save these fish? Because the pond had already had like a thin sheet of ice over the water. So literally my fish were trapped under the ice. So I had to grab a net, I had to grab a really big bucket, get them inside and start the acclimation process of getting them into the biggest body of water that I have. The 600-gallon pool pond here, that was home to my smallmouth pen, and I had to add the crappie and the largemouth in here. Well, I didn't want to like overwhelm the system, so I put 2 of the crappie in here, I put 2 of the crappie over into the other smallmouth aquarium, and obviously the largemouth in here. So unfortunately, after adding the largemouth, you can see the smallmouth did a little bit of damage to that tail. That is actually much healed and much improved, which is good because I've actually seen them start to hang out together, which is interesting because I know there is a female and a male, and I don't think it's gonna happen, but so I don't want to like get our hopes up, but maybe. That's the story. You guys wanted to know the story. I asked you and you overwhelmingly said, yes, we want to know the story. Unfortunately, it's a sad story and it's one of my own mistake. I know there's people in the comments right now type in, it's your fault. You were running a pond in the middle of Nebraska with no heater. And trust me, I know. It was working and then it suddenly stopped working before I came up with a solid plan to heat it. So trust me, I'm aware. I know it's my fault. But sometimes in fish keeping you make mistakes and you learn from them to make sure that you don't do it again. And the benefit of me having a YouTube channel with people that watch it is I can tell you, don't try and run a pool pond in your garage in Nebraska when the temperature gets down to 0 degrees without having a solid plan to heat it. But moving forward with this pond, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I know I'm not going to set it back up until the temperature is warmer, until I can come up with a solid plan to keep it warm. I've also been thinking of things that we could do bigger with this space. So there you go. But thank you guys for watching this one. I know especially this last little bit here has been just a lot of me talking, but sometimes when you tell a story, you got to use words, and there's not a whole lot of pictures that I want to show with this pond. But thank you guys for watching. A lot of big things coming. Actually, when this video drops, I'm going to be on my way to meet up with a good friend and fellow YouTuber to do some cool content with, so I'm excited about that. So give this one a thumbs up if you want to see that muskie feeding compilation. Thank you for watching. Comment, you know, whatever. And until the next video, I will see you soon.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon. See you soon. Mwah. Mwah.